Hello, Todd Clemens, Okeechobee Livestock Market, and here is your frozen market report for the week. Crazy weather, snow in the Panhandle, and just really cold here in South Florida. But this is not the first time it's snowed up there. I remember, well, I went to college in Troy, Alabama, and in I'm going to date myself, 1973, my first year at Troy, Alabama, it snowed, and I had to come home that week, and it took 3 hours to get from Troy to Dothan, and it's only about 50 miles. And the roads were horrible. It was 6 to 8 inches of snow, and that's been a while back, but that may be the last time it snowed that much. But they've got a lot of snow in the Panhandle. We had some buyers from that area that weren't on the sale this week down here or in Arcadia either. They just they were out because these calves are, it's tough sending those calves up there in that kind of weather. And the market was still good, even though we didn't have all the orders on the floor. Calves were still good and higher, I would say. We had a good run of cattle Monday. It was a cold day still, and kind of rainy. Tuesday was the worst weather day, but we had a lot of cattle Monday. 1,500 head, I think, and then Tuesday we didn't have that many, and it was pretty nasty here, and that was the day they had snow in North Florida, so it's probably a good thing we didn't have a huge run of cattle. But cows were higher, and the word spread, and we had a lot of cows, and this winter weather has these cows really high. Relatively speaking, it's been good, but it just this weather market had these cows a good probably $5 to $10 higher this week than they were last week. And I mean, just don't count on these weather price cows to stay like this, even though the market is getting higher on everything. We had some cows bumping $1.60. Maybe we had a cow bring that, I don't think, but close to it. And bulls are right there at $2 a pound. Because these supplies are limited. Hamburger meat still selling, all kinds of meat still selling at record high prices. And when your supply is limited because of this winter weather up in the north, where it's frozen, and even in the south this week, supply is very limited. So we're very fortunate here in South Florida that we can still move cattle and sell cattle, and everybody comes down here to supply their needs. And maybe there's just not enough cows going around right now, but it could be temporary, even though the market is trending higher. The feeder cattle coming out of the feedlots, and the price that these packers are having to pay for cattle coming out of the feedlots is just unbelievably at a level we've never seen. Futures are trading at $2, I think is $2 on the fat cattle on the futures. The feeder cattle on the futures are trading for $2.80, I believe, and that's on 850 pound steers. It's a lot of money. And the packers are having to pay over $2 for cattle coming out of the feedlot, and these cattle are still weighing. I mean, they're weighing up there around 960 pounds on the carcass, which is still extremely high. It'll probably start going back down a little bit. They'll start losing a few pounds during these hard winter months. The carcasses probably won't be quite as big, but still 950 to 60 pound carcasses is huge. The kills, the volume of cattle moving or being processed for the week is slightly lower. But it's still up there in that 600,000 range. So the movement is good, and demand is extremely good. A lot going on this week with the inauguration of President Trump. The new administration is in. He's trying to get his cabinet people in place. He's having a hard time doing that. There's resistance from the other party. A lot of interrogation going on and confirmation. But that's the democratic process, and hopefully they'll all get put into place and we can get on to business. But with all these presidential orders coming out and taking place, everybody's just trying to scratch their head to see to see what's going to happen, and how these the tariffs and import tariffs on China and Russia, and how's that going to affect the cattle business. And some comments were that it's always the agriculture is the industry that it hurts the worst. Well, we'll see about that. Like we said, prices are at an all-time high. Even the futures are at an all-time high. And as long as meat keeps moving and we have a product that everybody wants, I mean, people are still eating beef, and they like a good steak from time to time, and so we're in a good business and in a good cycle where the producers are making their share of a profit for now, and maybe we can keep it going that way. But yeah, we had a lot of political things going on, administration change, hostages released from Palestine back to Israel. And it's funny, you hear about all that stuff on the news, and you see the families of those 3 Israeli girls that came home and how excited they were, and it just makes you feel good in your heart that they were reunited with their families. And I was wondering, so they released 3 Israelis back to their families, and then Israel had to release like 100 prisoners of Hamas prisoners or something back to Palestine, and you never saw any. I don't guess anybody cares about them. There's 100 of them. What are they, criminals or terrorists or something? Because nobody was standing at the airport waiting for them to come home. I don't get it, but maybe it just kind of shows you that that's what it is. I mean, it's a kind of a lopsided deal. I don't understand, but there's a lot of that none of us understand, and there's a lot going on that we'll never know about. But hopefully they'll get this peace agreement treaty worked out and quit bombing each other for a little while. But it's been going on for 3,000 years, and I doubt it's going to stop forever, but maybe for now it will. Anyways, I'm glad our country is friends with Israel, and we support them in everything we do, and that's biblical, and that's what that's great, and that's what our country's founded on, biblical, godly principles, and that's how we line up, and I'm glad that that's the way it is. So back to the market. I don't know how many cattle we're going to have this coming week with the weather. You guys, probably the most important thing you can do is just watch the weather, not the Weather Channel, but you can watch that too, but just your local news and find out what's going on. Is I-10 closed? Is I-20 closed? Is there ice storm somewhere? Is our movement of cattle okay? Is it okay to move cattle, or is it dangerous? Or listen to the news and the weather, and see if it makes sense to sell cattle that week or not. I mean, they're high, even though maybe an order or two's not on the floor, and you need to sell something, sell it, because it's going to bring a lot of money. We had calves, 600-pound calves, still up there right at $2.85 a pound on good steers weighing 600 pounds or better. I had some 800-pound steers I saw that were in really good condition, kind of maybe a little too fat, but good lean 8-weight steers bringing 220, 230, I believe. And the 3-weight calves are up there in the high $4 range. We're talking about almost $1,500 for a little 300-something pound calf. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. And you're going to have to make a decision this year, as we're thinking about with our calves. Most of the time we push them to weigh more and ship them in July and August weighing 600 pounds. Well, you may want to think about shipping them a little bit lighter, take them off their mamas a little bit sooner. Prices are so good, you have options. Maybe you can take them off their mama a little bit earlier, or maybe take them off the mama and wean them, or sell them. They're bringing a lot of money, and you can let your cows mend up a little bit better and maybe have a better breed back rate on that. So it's nice to have some good options, some good choices, because in this kind of market, in today's market, it's hard to go wrong. Whatever you're selling is bringing a lot of money. It's probably not going to stay this way forever, but numbers are still down, and you know, how fast can they build the herd? Or will the herd ever get built back? I don't know. Maybe not. You know, you can think about cattle inventory in the U.S. and the possibility that it's just never going to grow past the point that it is now. And if beef demand continues to rise the way it is, with the population the way it is, maybe it's just good times and price inflation levels and price levels will just stay high. I don't know. It'd be nice. So anyways, good market. Let's just get through this cold week, and next week it's going to warm back up. It's supposed to be back in the 80s and sunshine, and everything will kind of get back to good weather next week. At least that's what the weatherman said this morning. One more thing. It's that time of year. We're getting towards out of January into February, and you guys are going to start working your calves here in the next month or so. And just want to let you know we're planning to have a customer appreciation dinner here at Okeechobee Livestock Market. The date is February the 20th. That's a Thursday. We'll get the word out there to you. We're just in preliminary planning stages now, but look out for information on our customer appreciation dinner on Thursday, probably around 5 or 6 o'clock on Thursday here at Okeechobee Livestock Market. You guys that are selling your cattle on Producers, we appreciate your business. Producers Cattle Auction appreciate you. And if you're not selling your cattle with us on Producers, then we'd like to invite you to our party, tell you what we do. We do a really good job at selling cattle on the internet, truckload lots. We've been doing it for a long time. We have buyer connections. We have good reputation cattle sellers on that sale, and then they always bring top dollar. Good cattle bring the buyers, and that's what we can do for you. So if you're interested in that, come see us. We'll talk to you about it. And if you just you got a handful and you've got good cattle, bring them right through the ring, because they're bringing as high now as they ever have, and you'll get a good price for about whatever can make it through that ring. You're going to get good money for. So we appreciate you guys, and we thank the buyers for showing up in these bad, cold conditions. And they don't have to be here, but they have orders that they want to fill, and they know that. And when they come to our sale, they're going to have a lot of cattle to look through, and they can fill their orders here at Okeechobee for the better part. And some of you guys can't make it because it's just the conditions are too bad where you are. But we appreciate the ones that do show up every week. The big cattle buyers and the ones that just buy 6 or 8 or 10 head a week too. We appreciate all of you, because it takes everybody. It takes all the buyers to make these cattle bring what they're bringing, and our customers and the producers sure appreciate that. The high prices this week were some names that we're familiar with. Crescent Bar Cattle, and that Todd Harvey came in and picked that check up. I got to visit with him, and he couldn't believe that he sold a calf. Crescent Bar Cattle sold a 180-pound little bull calf, good little black bull calf, 180 pounds. It brought $6.20, and that calf was bought by, guess who? Rush Creek. And on the slaughter cow side, Sun Ag from Fellsmere, who's been selling cattle here for 100 years at least. I remember them from way back, and they're good customers. Sun Ag from Fellsmere sold a slaughter cow that weighed 1,460 pounds, and she brought $1.56. That's a good price and a good ticket there. And that cow was bought by Florida Beef, and Florida Beef was the high cow buyer, bought more cattle volume-wise, slaughter cows than anybody here, and we appreciate them very much. It's a very competitive cow market these days. There's four buyers in there, all kind of fighting for those cattle, and Florida Beef bought their fair share of them. And so those are good prices. I would expect that we would have those same kind of good prices coming up this week. So if you need us to hold you a lot, or you're going to bring some in, let us know. Or if you're worried about the weather or conditions, or you don't know exactly what to do, give us a call and we'll tell you what we think. And it may be right, it may be wrong, but it's what we think. Thank you very much. See you next week.